Hi, welcome to Ringside with Kayla. Today I have the super featherweight top ranked prospect, Abraham Nova. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. I know you've been signed with Top Rank since 2019. How was your experience for signing with them and how has it been working with Top Rank?
It's experience signing with Top Rank. We've been able to have some big fights, and competitive fights, and everything is going good. Being signed with them, I'm excited, and I'm excited what the future brings.
Moving on to your personal life, I know you come from a family of religion. Both of your parents are pastors and you grew up with 10 siblings. Tell me a little bit about how your childhood was coming from a family that was so rooted with God. And how does your relationship with God not only affect your career, but your personal life as well?
Like you said, growing up in a Christian home with a whole bunch of siblings, it will be tough, and not having a higher power and somebody that could uh write us or guide us the right way. So God has been a big impact on my life. He helps me and day in and day out through my personal life and my boxing career and my boxing experiences. My parents being pastors and being very religious, it's a big way to use that, I could say, for motivation, because my parents are very passionate at what they do, and me seeing my parents being so passionate at the word of God it's taught me that whatever you put your mind whatever you put your mind in, you get something out of it. So I'm really passionate in boxing. I'm not as passionate. I won't say passionate, but I'm not as like I could say straightforward going to with the stuff of God. I don't I'm not in church every day or whatnot, but I do believe in God, and I do, follow His words, and I know that there's a higher power, which is Jesus Christ, who died for us, and I use that for motivation. I understand that He has a journey and a path for each one of us. Um, a lot of times I say fighters they have their shine probably when they're 21, they're 22, some of them they're 30. It took me to be 29, but God has a purpose and He has a way for us. So we just have to be patient and trust on His word and trust on His guidance, and will definitely fulfill our dreams and our goals if you know we stick to His word and stick to His script.
In the sport of boxing, self-confidence is really
Yeah.
important to get into the ring and do what you have to do. What gives you the confidence to not only compete, but to also overcome tribulations?
Self confidence is big. Self confidence. I feel like that was something that was into me. That was brought into me as being part of 1 out of 10 kids. You need confidence, dealing with 10 brothers and sisters. So that was something I think that was in tune into me. My confidence really comes big from my training camp. If I feel like if I train hard and I did everything I had to do in necessity to prepare the best that I can for a fight, my confidence gonna be off the roof because I know I gave it my all. Whether win or loss, I know I gave it my all through training camp. Like the same way, you're confident in what you're doing because you train to get these podcasts, to get these interviews to fighters. So you're confident doing what you do. Same for me. I'm confident because I put in the time, I put in the work. I feel like if anybody don't put in the work, don't put in the time, man, I don't think how you get confident. I think you could be a bit more ignorant than anything. But confidence is a big thing in my life. I'm a self belief. I'm a big self believer. I believe that God has this plan for me, and there's tribulations, tribulations, obstacles on the road, but we have to overcome that because nothing is easy. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it. So I my confidence really just comes in from my hard work and my family. Seeing my brothers and sisters provide and be who they are. It's 10 of us, and I could probably say all 10 of my brothers and sisters are professionals in something. We got doctors, we got lawyers, we got architecture, we got barbers, we got firemen. So we got it all in my family, and I could say they're all successful. Yeah, I didn't go to school route. I went through the sport way, and I'm being successful at it. So we all have that self belief or that self confidence, and that comes like I think it's a ladder. see my parents provide and do what they got to do and being successful, then my siblings see that, and then I'm seeing that for my siblings. So yes, that just I think that's like a generation, like a generational and like something that was in, like I said, it was in tune into me being a young kid. But confidence is everything. If you don't have it, man, you're in the wrong sport.
And, considering that both of your parents were pastors, what was the reaction, to you deciding to pursue the sport as a professional?
Um, in the beginning, my mom to this day she hasn't watched none of my fights or been to any of my fights. But I understand, not just her being a pastor, but being a mother. I feel like a mother wouldn't want to see, their son, even though they're winning whatnot, but getting hit or whatnot. So I understand from my mom's side. But in the beginning, they wasn't really with it, but they understood that they said I would rather my son, do something positive, do a sport, something than having him in the streets and selling drugs or get into trouble. So they're like, hey, if this is gonna keep him off the streets, because excuse me, where I was raised, it was very tough. A lot of drugs. We lived in apartments, and downstairs they sold cocaine. The next door sold marijuana. So there's a lot of drugs involved. A lot of things you could see. So instead of my parents seeing me getting caught up with that, I was, like, hey, if he's gonna box and stay out the streets, and we'll let him do it. Of course they wasn't okay with it, but after they seen the potential and the skill set that I have, or let me better say, they didn't see it. They heard, people always spoke to them. Yo, man, your son's a really good fighter. Everybody around the neighborhood, spoke highly about me, about my boxing skills that I had. So, once they heard that, they was like, man, let's let him continue doing that and not take that away from him, because he's actually doing something good with that. And my dad is a dad. I feel like every father would like to see the son fight. So my dad's been to a couple of my fights. He'll come, he'll pray, he'll come to the back room, give me words of wisdom and let me know that um, God is with me, and all I gotta do is, at the end of the day, just be thankful and give him the glory. So yeah, I know my parents, they came around, but especially my dad, he came around. My mom, she supports me, but she just don't want to see it. So it is what it is. But it was tough coming up, but like I said, they say, hey, if he's gonna do something good with it, let it rock.
At what age did you know you wanted to turn professional? Was it like as soon as you started boxing, or was it a decision that just came over time?
I would say it was a decision that came over time. I when I started boxing, I started boxing because I wanted to box. I started boxing because I thought I could box, and I went to the gym and I got beat up. So I kept going, not to be a boxer. I kept going in order to redeem myself and beat up the kid that beat me up. I was a very exceptional, high skill athlete, playing football, playing baseball. So I was really really good. But like I said, those are team sports, and I don't like team sports. I'm a very independent kid. So as I kept doing boxing, I kept playing other sports. We kept losing in football and then in basketball and baseball, and we kept losing. But in boxing, I saw that I don't gotta rely on a team to win. So I just kept pursuing the boxing, and I became good, and after I became good, I said I could do something with this. So I had to pick. It's gonna be football, it's gonna be baseball, it's gonna be basketball, it's gonna be boxing, and I let all of them go, and I kept with the boxing. And after me keeping the boxing, when I pick something, I'm dedicated my whole time and my life to it. So I knew that once I became a boxer and I picked that as my sport, I said, hey, I'm going all the way with it. So that's the professional ranks, that's the Olympics, that's everything. So that's what I did. I picked one sport and I kept it, and I said, this is it.
And I saw your recent post on Instagram with Teofimo Lopez. Did you spar with him at all for his preparation with Josh Taylor?
No, I actually spar. I actually went to training camps 2 times with Teofimo Lopez. I helped him get ready for the Nakatani fight, and I helped him get ready for the Richard Comey fight. So I was in camps for him for 8 weeks, 6 weeks, in Vegas, and then we went to New Jersey. I'm real close with Lopez and his dad. I speak to his dad very often. Um, and yeah, real close with them. I've been in the rings with all those guys: Teofimo, Devin Haney, The list goes on with those top fighters. But yeah, I'm really I'm really close with Lopez and his family, his mom and his siblings.
And also, a lot of people recognize you from your blonde beard. I read somewhere that you dyed your beard blonde, something like it was inspired from the Puerto Rican baseball team. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, it's not blind, it went away, but I'm gonna get it back for fight night. But yeah, it was inspired by the Puerto Rican national team after the Hurricane Maria. The color blonde it stands for unity. I mean, everybody stays together. So after the Hurricane Maria happened in Puerto Rico, the national baseball team decided to dye their hair blonde in order to stay together and stay in unity for those tough times that were happening in Puerto Rico. So me being born in Puerto Rico and being Puerto Rican, I said, hey, let me support and do the same thing. But instead of dyeing my hair, I dye my beard. After dyeing my beard, I got a lot of recognition. I got a lot of popularity. I got a lot of feedback from it. So like, hey, this is a good thing. So we kept it going, and then it was a great way to market myself and stand out when I fought on TV and people seen this blonde beard. So like, hey man, this a good gig. So we kept going with it. But yeah, the blonde beard, it will be back July 28th. You guys gonna nice and shiny gold beard.
Yeah, and I saw in one of your recent fights for your walkout, you had a mascot of yourself with the blonde beard. I just thought that was just so cool and fun to see.
Yeah, definitely. You got to market yourself. I tell everybody, man, we got promoters, we got everything, but it's up to you to do the job. Coming up with a mascot, he's thinking outside the box, thinking, adding things that different sports do. That different sports, you see mascots in baseball, you see mascots in football, you see mascots in basketball, but you don't see in boxing. Like, hey, let's do the mascot, but instead of doing the animal, let's do myself. So that's something. I feel like if anyone the fighter want to do, you guys could do it. You guys ain't. I don't care about that. It's the whole point of promote and entertain the fans. It's like I said, yeah, boxing is a sport, but it's more entertainment. You need to entertain the fans because this is what it is. We here to entertain. Yeah.
And lastly, what are some words you would have to say to young fighters who are looking to pursue this sport as well as a professional?
Yeah, a word of advice I will say to fighters, kids, etc. Everyone, I'm a big believer in timing. We have to understand timing in life. A lot of times we see somebody that's younger than us pursuing and getting things rather faster than us. So you see young rich kids, you see older rich people. So and you see why you're not there. You have to understand it's time, and God has a time for everybody. So you keep working hard, you keep doing what you got to do, and if you keep doing that, being consistent, your time is gonna come. Don't rush the process. It's trust the process. So I feel like timing is real big. I feel like kids and boxers, and we get very impatient. We want it now, now, now. You have to understand that God has a purpose, and He has a he has a goal and a way for us. So if you understand His time, you understand your time, you understand that it's gonna happen. But you have to be consistent, keep doing what you're gonna do. It's gonna happen. So I feel like, that's the word I could give to the youth, to the kids, to everybody out there. Just understand timing is not because you say it's gonna happen. Timing happens because God says it's gonna happen when He says it's gonna happen. You just have to trust the process and be patient.
All right, well, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate your time, and I look forward to watching your upcoming